Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here's your host, Zero.
Welcome to Zero's Game Room, the podcast where we talk about all things gaming. And while today we are going to be talking about gaming, we're going to talk about a hot trend going on right now, live streaming, specifically on Twitch.tv. Today's guest is a Twitch live streamer himself, Ka6Scope. Welcome to the show, man.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. So, what initially inspired you? Let's start from the roots, okay? Because you started off in YouTube, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so what inspired you to start there?
Well, it was kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing, like a lot of these things are. I hadn't really watched a whole lot of YouTube back in the day, but one of my favorite games came out, Pokemon Soul Silver, and I had gotten the Japanese copy and was real excited to play it. And at the time, I just happened to be on YouTube and found some LPs of it by searching for videos of it. And I was like, that would be kind of fun if I were to LP it myself. I've always enjoyed, talking to myself, playing games. So it was just kind of a spur of the moment decision back then. I was really young. I was like, what the hell? I got free time. I'll just give it a shot. And I did. And, I really enjoyed it. So I kept kind of going with it, and eventually people started watching, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Did you ever think it would expand that far, that like you being able to talk and play like your favorite game would lead to this type of success? Oh
no, absolutely not. And I don't think anybody expects that. It was like it was just a hobby, even when it started growing, to me, it was always still just a hobby. And in the very beginning, I thought, I'll put 1-2 videos up there, just, maybe I'll get 50 views one day, and it'll be, it'll just be like something cool to look back on, to have fun at the moment. But I never even imagined sticking with it for a month or a year, much less, here I am now at 8 years since I started YouTube, and it's just, no, I never thought it would grow to this level, and to the level at one point where I was doing it, as my full-time job. I never imagined that, and it's amazing that it did, because, to me, really, I was just doing it because I wanted to give my free time to, it was fun. It's a hobby. It's something I enjoy doing, and I would have done it for free forever,
Right, and that's just kind of like the dream come true. That's like the pinnacle. It's like, wow, I get to play video games, which you and I are huge gamers, and yet now you get to get paid for it, and people giving you this feedback and creating that audience, and connecting with them.
It's really like the best possible thing, that can happen in life almost. I mean, like, your goal is, you got to have a job, you got to make money somehow,
Right,
and
yeah, of course.
You wanted, the goal in life is to do it by doing something you love at the same time, and that's what I had achieved at this point, and it was just really awesome too, because a lot of us guys who play games and stuff, not always, but sometimes, we're kind of nerds. We have trouble like getting out there, talking to people, making a lot of friends. So the fact that now you have these people you can talk to in a non-scary person environment, but still interact with these people, it's like, it's the best of all the worlds, really, because, now you're kind of working on making a living, you're doing something you love, and you're, talking to people, making friends who obviously have the same interests. So it's really like one of the most amazing things that can happen to you is when you start getting a bigger audience on YouTube, and it was amazing, it was really fun while it was growing like that.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. And I was one of the lucky few who kind of caught you in that wave of Soul Silver, and I totally completely enjoyed it. But now, fast forwarding a little bit, you've done YouTube for 8 years, you've enjoyed it, and there's been some rough patches here and there. As of late, you've been doing a lot more streaming. What motivated you to go in that direction? Because for the most part, you've been doing great LPs. You've done Pokemon, you've done Yu-Gi-Oh, you've done all these things. You've even did Mega Man, which I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, yeah.
So what made you say, hey, maybe I should try the Twitch side of things?
Yeah. I had no idea you were a big fan of Mega Man, dude. The X-Zero didn't give it away at all.
Oh, yeah, no, the Zero. No, because Zero's totally not, and my logo doesn't have Zero or anything.
Yeah,
no.
Nothing to do with that, yeah.
Not at all.
But anyway, no, the thing is, like you said, there was a lot of rough patches with YouTube, and, that just comes with life, like things start happening in your real life that obviously take precedence. When I started doing it, I was only, for 2009, I was only 19, so I had a lot less going on. I just graduated high school, was, in and out of community college, so I wasn't doing a whole lot. I had a lot of time for hobbies and things like that. But, as life progresses, you get more jobs, take more hours of your life.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know. Hence why like a majority of my time has been taken up. I haven't been able to game as hard. Exactly. Don't get me wrong, I still get to like keep up with stuff, but it's not the same, Life priorities happen.
Exactly, and that happens with everybody, dude. It happens with everybody. I mean, especially, you get a girlfriend, things like that, all these things they take up more of your time, so there's less time for that, you prioritize, and it's just natural. So I had a lot of hiatuses, but, it's something I've enjoyed, so I've always tried to come back to it here and there, kind of keep it, on life support breathing, or, and I've tried multiple times to come back to it. But the thing with LPing, it takes a lot of time. You're sitting there, you're recording it, you've got to edit it, you've got to upload it. It takes a lot of time. And, people have slowly kind of veered off from it, as I've taken hiatuses, which is understandable. And, honestly, I've been streaming since, Justin TV was a thing, and now that Twitch started coming out, it just became really big.
Those days.
Yeah.
A quick question, just to interject. Do you remember, like, Ustream and stuff like that, and other ones?
Oh, yeah, I was around when Ustream was big, too, man. Yeah, Ustream was the shit back in the day. It was the Twitch TV. I mean, I still had an account on Ustream right now, but yeah, so back then it wasn't as big a thing, but now it's evolved and it took off, and it's such a... The reason, and I decided to do some streams, here and there, and the reason I've decided to veer towards it is just because since I've been doing it recently, to be honest, YouTube is kind of slowing down. It had its prime, it's kind of in the slowdown now, and Twitch is really blowing up. So not only is it just the place to be, it's where people are at, but it's YouTube but better, it's LPs but better. You get to chat with your audience in a live time, respond to them here and there. It's like you get to do a Q&A while you're playing the video games. It's a much more relaxed environment. There's a lot less work that goes into it. You don't have to sit here, edit a video, get all these software and programs.
Oh, yeah, you have to make sure everything's ready. Like, if you have a capture card like an Elgato, you got to get up and make sure everything's connected right, test it, make sure everything looks good, and then you start recording. And then once you're done, you have to take that footage and your audio, throw it into a software, and then, like, render it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, dude. It really is. And YouTube has like a higher threshold for quality, I feel. Streaming, you can just kind of throw your video game up there and you could just go. I mean, even if it's crappy quality, people are just going to say, oh, it's the servers, whatever. Who cares? They'll still watch it because they get to talk to you. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best part about streaming because, on YouTube, you have the comments section and you can interact. No, of course not. I've tampered with streaming here and there a little bit. Again, it's not one of the things I have the most time for either. But, that connection, you really get to know your audience. You really see. Because, somebody might have enough for, let's say you uploaded a 10, 20-minute video. Somebody might have enough time to sit down, watch that, and leave a comment. But for somebody to take more of their time to just sit there, watch you, and interact you, it takes a little bit more.
Yeah,
but it also, you narrow down who really, really likes to see your content.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed. A lot of people, a lot of LPers who were around in, your and my days, the big ones, Nintendo Capri Sun, Pico, Super Genius.
NCS was the big, yeah.
All those guys, they've all, it seems, veered towards streaming as well, just because of, it does have a lot more to offer. But the thing is, I feel there still is a place for LPs, you're gearing it towards a certain audience. People that don't have all the time in the days, you're streaming at a certain time. People can't catch that. There's different time zones. There's people who are at work during those times, whatever. So, if you put an LP up, they can watch it at their leisure, drop a comment, whatever. That's good for those sort of people. So when you're streaming, you're streaming during a certain time. People can't just sit there and dedicate their time to chatting on there all day. So it's like you said, it's veered towards a much more narrow part of your fan base. So it's going to be, you're going to get less people viewing you at one time than you are going to get hits on your video, But as you said, that's your more core group of, dedicated fans that you'll talk to on a consistent basis if you stream a lot. And it's a lot stronger of a connection, It's a lot more interaction. And, that's the part of YouTube that I always enjoyed the most. Yeah, making the videos, playing the video games are fun, even the editing and all that from a certain standpoint is fun to, learn how to do that. But reading the comments and replying to those were always the best part of YouTube to me, was the interaction with the fans, how they, viewed it. So Twitch is that, but on an extreme level. Yes, it may be less people, it may be geared towards more certain people who have more free time, but that's just the way it goes. I'd love to do both in a perfect world, but as of right now, when you only have a certain amount of time to dedicate to it, it's really kind of a pick your poison thing here. And I just,
Right.
Twitch, like I said, the interaction part is so big and so great and it's so easy. That's why I've been putting my time towards that lately.
Oh, okay. Okay, so as of right now, you have about like 3,960 followers on Twitch. Do you think a majority of them came from YouTube or from other areas, or did some people just stumble upon you through like networking and knowing other people?
I'd say about I'd say a good 75%, if not more, came from YouTube, of course. I'd say that's where most of them know me. Most of them, I can recognize from the YouTube environment. But since I started streaming and doing it mainstream, a lot of the communities I've been involved with, speedrunning, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of the games I've been playing lately. I have, interacted with a lot of those people. I host them, they host me in return. We do races sometimes, so I have noticed a surge from them. And, I'll be in their streams and see people who are in their streams that I, have no recognition of from YouTube or since
Right.
I've started streaming, and then I'll start seeing them in my room. So there's definitely been a good surge. A lot of the people who've come in as of late have come from the Twitch community, I would say, alone, and probably haven't checked out my videos at all from YouTube. So I'd say a good majority are YouTube, but as I start to stream more and more and do YouTube less and less, I'd say it's going to get a wider margin of more people from Twitch.
Okay,
But my fan base
okay.
on YouTube definitely helped establish from the get-go, a decent stream, because that's one of the
Right,
hardest things to do, is get a stream viewership right away.
Right, that's really hard, but it's good that you have people who are dedicated to watching your stuff. Now, a lot of times, and from my personal just opinion, I've noticed that Yu-Gi-Oh! The Forbidden Memories for the PlayStation 1 has been one of, if not your most popular LPs on your channel, would you say?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Right. So was that the game that you said, yeah, I should start off with this to ease into it, or do you just honestly enjoy that game?
I mean, I really do enjoy it, and it may not seem like it to a lot of people because, I don't know if you know, man, but this game, it is notoriously difficult. It really gets
Right.
me going sometimes. I get really rage-filled. That's just part of my real, that's just part of me. That's my persona. I get mad at the games. I show it. I'm not afraid to show it on the stream.
Meteor B Dragon.
Yeah, and since it was one of my popular LPs, though, I'm not going to lie, it definitely influenced me. I'm like, okay, this was where I got a lot of my success on YouTube. I should start streaming that. Let me just stream that. I want to get some viewerships, and I wasn't going to lie. I wanted to go for the sub button. I wanted to go for the partner on Twitch. I was
Right.
like, if I can start, making money off this and doing it more often, I can justify spending more time on it. So that would be great. So I started off streaming that, casual playthrough, and then after the casual playthrough was done, I was like, you know what? I'm really having fun with it. I want to kind of find a way to continue it. Always been interested in the speedrun aspects of it. One of my viewers from YouTube back in the day, my friend Win Sunrise, he was a viewer. I remember him from a long time ago. He told me that I actually kind of convinced him to start speedrunning the game and start playing
wow.
it. And he also started speedrunning Mega Man Battle Network 3, which was one of my LPs, as you
Oh,
know.
Battle Network 3
Yeah,
Blue.
good
That's
version,
where
good
it's
game,
at.
yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, but anyway, so that kind of influenced him to start playing it and speedrunning it. And actually, as of right now, he has the world record for the speedrun in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and he got partnered actually around the same time I did on Twitch. So now, he's blown up into this, big streamer, and I had no idea. He was a guy who used to watch me.
Wow.
I inspired him, and now he's over here doing speedruns. So I was like, fuck it, maybe I should do it too, So
Right, why, if he can do it, why can't I?
yeah, and not gonna lie, he's way better at the game than I. But I'm having a lot of fun speedrunning it. I'm improving.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's really fun, and I like it. And I do play other things from time to time, but it's hard to veer away from something I'm having a lot of fun with. And I see myself improving on. So that's. And it does help, that it was my biggest LP back in the day. So I feel like it does bring a lot of viewers, because a lot of people who came over from YouTube were people who told me, yeah, I remember your Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, da-da-da, like that was the LP that got me watching you, which it was with a lot of people. That's where my, subscriber count and all that kind of jumped.
Right, it shot up.
Yeah, so I think the finale of that video is my most viewed video by far. It's my only video, and it's got over 1 million views now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's insane. I don't understand it, but I guess at the time it was one of the only like solid LPs of the game on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, because
So-
it's a very old game.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
obscure.
remember
It's a
playing
gem,
it, but
you know?
it's a gem. It's one of those hidden gems you find in the rough that
Right.
like you might have played at like when you were a kid, but then you kind of like it all flushes back into your memory. Like I remember I picked it up like because there's like a retro video game store and I saw it, and a buddy of mine picked it up for like only like $20 or something like that, and so we got to playing it, and whoa, did the memories just kind of rush back to me.
Yeah, it was the
so
nostalgia,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. So when you're streaming, what are like some of the games that you have either thought about or have in the future? Like, I want to stream this.
Well, I mean, as of right now, the games I'm kind of doing on the side, I'm doing a Final Fantasy X HD, you know, a full playthrough, 100% playthrough of that, because I've gotten pretty far in the game, you know, as far as, I don't know if you know Final Fantasy, like Dark Aeons and stuff. It's
Oh, yeah. No, actually, funny enough, back when I had enough time and everything, the game I streamed like full through was Final Fantasy X.
Okay, yeah, then you know. Yeah, great game, and you know, now they, with the HD version, they have all this extra content.
Right.
So it's a game I enjoy. It's really casual to stream, so I've been casually making my way through the game on that as like a side game when I don't feel like that. But you know, going with the Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, people give me all these recommendations of great Yu-Gi-Oh games that I hadn't played. You know, I've played this one from my childhood and Duelist of the Roses, but there's a bunch of other great ones that I hadn't played. So I picked up a bunch of those, you know, and have been trying them on and off. But as for the future, you know, like I really want to branch into speedrunning other games. You know, I want to, like I said, my friend Wins, he also speedruns Mega Man Battle Network 3. I kind of want to get into that. He's
Wow.
You know, sent me some notes and stuff, so I really want to look into that.
That's a real game that I don't see that. Like, how would you speedrun
It's hard, yeah.
that?
It's a long speedrun. I believe the speedrun's something like, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours, which is still crazy because it's such a long game.
I know, that's still crazy because that game is just packed with good content, and you got to get the right battle chips, and you got to have a good, you know?
It's hard, yeah. It's hard from what I've seen, too. But, you know, getting in races with these people and, you know, casually streaming just any games I love. I kind of just want to approach it like I did LP. You know, if I have a thought about a game I love and I want to play, you know, Shadow of the Colossus, you know, any of the good new games, Last Guardian, you know, I even play some sports games, you know, NBA 2K17, you know, MLB The Show, you know, stuff like that. Just anything. Yeah. Retro games mostly is what I'm looking to do. But, you know, anything I just feel like playing one day, I just want to do it once I branch out from this Yu-Gi-Oh, you know?
Right, and I feel like there's that whole idea, you know, that saying that's like, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. It kind of like pours over into like the Twitch. If you play a game that you genuinely love, people will notice it. People feed off of that energy of like you're playing a game. Like I remember going back to Final Fantasy X. It was actually a blind run, fun enough. Funny enough, and I got okay. Look, I learned my lesson as I was going through. I got to the final boss, and he kicked my butt. I was extremely underleveled. I did not know the power of haste and everything.
Right.
But see, that's the thing, because you have this community, but you are so passionate that these people come, they start giving you tips. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that, and it just. It cultivates a community. You really get to know these people, and they become your friends.
It does. And yeah, what you were saying, you know, about you playing a game you like, that's something I learned the hard way from YouTube. You know, people go one of two ways. They either just go and play the games they love, and, you know, what if people come, people come. And then there's people who, you know, they're aiming more for, you know, the fame, the viewer count, all this, and they play the games they think people want to see. You know, they do the day one LPs, they do the popular games, even if it's something they're not really into, to try and, you know, boost that count of subscribers, whatever. And there's people who do it on Twitch as well. You know, Breath of the Wild just came out. People be playing that day one. Even if they're not, like, super big Zelda fans, they'll still do it. You know, even if that's not their cup of tea. Exactly. They're trying to get off the hype, you know, get some viewers off the hype, which is fine. But, you know, I learned in YouTube that's just not the way to do it. Because, I mean, ultimately, you're not going to be having fun. And those viewers, you know, they're not going to stick around because you're going to be doing your own thing once that's over, you know. You're going to be doing what you love. So, yeah, it's real important that you do what you want to do, you know. And if it makes people, if you lose, you know, viewers, whatever, you know, you just got to stick with that, because it's that's what it's about. If you start doing it and you're not enjoying it, you're not loving it, then it just becomes another job, you know. And that's the difference here. You know, you got to make sure it's something you enjoy doing, you love it. That's what's so awesome about it for us. You know, if it turns into just a job, you're doing it and you don't like it, you're like, oh, I got to go stream now. You're just like,
yeah, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, you're gonna hate it. You might as well go get a 9 to 5, you know, some office job or something. There's just, you know, no point. It pays a lot better, so, you know, go do that. But
so go do that. And the last thing I would want to ask is, to anybody listening to this podcast, what would you say are like anywhere between the top 3 or top 5 like tips you could give for someone who wants to start streaming? Like, let's say I was a guy, hey, I want to start streaming. What would you suggest? Or just some guidelines to follow?
Like I said earlier, definitely just play something you love. Don't try to go off hype games to try and boost viewers. Especially in the beginning, it can be hard when you don't have many viewers or any. It's really hard to not play something that's big to try and you're desperate to get people in there. But from what I've seen around me, I have a lot of people who come into my stream and also stream. And they're kind of small time. They get like 5 to 10 to 15 viewers, whatever, and but they come in all the time, they talk to me about it, and, just people you watch that are like bigger than you, just stay in there, keep yourself in there, and, eventually build friendships with these people, basically just networking, and you do that, and, like now I host a lot of those people when I stop streaming and they start streaming, and I've noticed their viewer counts rise a little bit here and there. I've noticed some of my, consistent viewers be over there at their channel with their streaming, and that helps really build their audience. So, networking, especially with other streamers you like, if they stream something similar to you, that's a real good way to get some of their viewers to notice you, is because, you stream something similar to them. So obviously people are going to be interested in it. So there's that. Stream what you love, I'd say, absolutely is the biggest thing, because when you show passion for something or you show real interest in it or even skill, people are going to attract to that. Quality has always been a thing for me. I don't know, a lot of people don't deal with it, but if you can, make sure you have a good internet connection so people can actually see what you're streaming. It's not all choppy.
You don't want to see it to be blurry.
Yeah.
Or the saying goes, stop streaming with your potato.
Yeah. It's not expensive really to have a good quality stream set.
Oh yeah.
You can get an Elgato for $50-$60, and it's.
Oh yeah, that's actually what I have.
Yeah, that's what I have as well. And, all the top end streamers use that. It's cheap, but it's effective. It works. Get a decent mic. Also a headset. The headset I'm using right now, it's not amazing, but it was $50 and it works perfectly as a headset and had a mic. So yeah, and just get a good stream layout going. Just and I'd say the most important tip, is just stick with it. There'll be a while, when I first started streaming and when I first started doing YouTube, there's going to be nobody watching. You'll be in your stream and it'll just say one viewer, and that's going to be you. But people are constantly browsing these pages, seeing what games people are playing. You're going to catch somebody's eye eventually, and especially when I first started YouTube too, when I was first doing Soul Silver, I got no views on those videos, but I kept going with it. That was a 120 part LP. I just stuck with it, and not till the very end did a few people start showing up. So it's like you just got to be persistent if you really are going to be passionate about it. You can't just get discouraged after 10 streams, because you had no viewers, and say fuck it, I'm done. You just gotta stick with it. You really do, because it takes time for these things to happen, especially if you're starting from scratch.
Well, thank you so much, Scope, for coming in to Zero's Game Room. I hope you enjoyed your time here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It was a blast. It's always good to catch up with you, dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for coming down, and I will see what you have in the future. Definitely excited for all the things to come. Well, that wraps up another episode of Zero's Game Room. Want to give a special thanks to my graphics designer at Trekit on Twitter and at David_Ritter for voicing my intro. Keep up to date with the podcast by liking it on Facebook at Zero's Gaming Room and on Twitter at Zero's Game Room. Until next time, GG with a definite re.